Well, hello everybody, welcome to Robert's Train Set. I'm sitting on my sofa. This video, as you might have seen from the title, is about these. The Kadee uncouplers. I know Charlie Bishop at Chadwick Model Railways a couple of weeks ago probably did a piece on these. I actually bought these, ordered these before he did these pieces on couplings. And also there are these new couplings that are magnetic, which obviously look quite good. Put simply, after I had sorted out my Bachmann 37s, returned to Rails of Sheffield and so forth, and bought my new locos that you saw a couple of weeks ago perhaps, I had some money left over in the account in Rails of Sheffield, and it wasn't enough money to buy a good rake of wagons or whatever, which is what I like to do. So I thought, what can I do? So Kadee'S are new way of coupling, and I thought I'd try. So I bought 9 packs of those, and these are number 20, which are basically the extra long. And you get, if you can see it, you get 4 of these in a pack. And the other things you need to buy is an uncoupler, which is basically magnetic. And I did also buy this manual uncoupling tool. Whether it's going to be any good or not, I don't know. But it also acts as a thing to help you put the springs back in, I believe. So that's what I've got, and that totaled nearly £60, which is quite expensive, isn't it? So how have I got on? Well, I've only just opened the packets, or one packet, and the uncoupler. Looking at the instructions for mounting the magnetic uncoupler in the track looks a bit long-winded. You know, you've got to actually cut out your sleepers, but not all the way through, is what I'm getting from it. So I've come up with a way of holding it in. Whether I will do this permanently, I don't know. Anyway, what I'll do now is alter the angle of the camera, and I'll show you what I've got set up. Cheers, everybody. So I've got a couple of bits of track here, and as you can see, I've already got, if I move that and that, the uncoupler in the track. Now you're supposed to let this into the track, but what I've actually done is I've used a bit of the old white tack, very small tiny bit to do it. And what I found was, yes, it is a bit high, and the pin in the Kadee, this bit here, was hitting, so I bent that up. Now Charlie Bishop did say you can buy a tool, but I've found that if you just, if I can do this, if you just use a pair of pliers like so, little ones, and just twist them, it does move it, and doesn't seem to break it. So what have I done? So I've got my 2 brake bands here, the Shark one and the Northeastern one. And as you can see, this one has got it's almost a standard, well, the medium coupling from Hornby, and the other end has got the slimline. So the first thing I tried, and the other ends, I fitted a couple of these Kadee'S. So, and these go into the NEM pockets, so you do need NEM pockets. What's that? So if you couple them together like so, and put a tape across it, it's about 23mm between the top of the roofs. And if I then uncouple them and do it with the NEMs, if I can get them on the track, then it's about 21.5, so I haven't closed them up at all, really. But because of my bends and tortuous route of my track, then I thought the long ones would be the safest bet, or the extra long in fact. And as you can see, when you pull it and stop, it does uncouple, so it does work. And I get the impression that the one on this wagon here is actually slightly low on the coupling, and it does actually just touch the magnet a bit, but they do uncouple, so it works. I must admit, I thought they'd be a bit tighter. There's almost as much play in these as in the normal couplings. Maybe not quite as bad, but yes, I thought they'd be a bit tighter when they're together. So you can see, look, I mean that does a bit, and then does help when you get it on the track, doesn't it? So as you can see, not as much, but a bit, isn't there? It's not much different. So yeah. So with this, I could get away. I'm pretty sure I could get away with the shorter Kadee'S, but I had to make a choice, and I thought I'd rather have long ones or extra long, so that I know they're all going to work, rather than getting them too short and not being able to work. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set up a bigger table with a bit more track on, and I want to see if they'll work on my Intercity carriages, the Bachmann and the Hornby, that I have trouble coupling up, that do cause a lot of problems when I'm pulling and pushing. So I want to see if these work better on that, rather than what I have at the moment, which is a Bachmann fixed coupling, you know, like the vacuum pipes. So I'm going to try that next. Okay. Well, welcome back. I've relocated to my conservatory, and it's a nice bright day today, so I'm filming this with no lights on anywhere. As you can see, I've got a bit of track in an oval on a couple of temporary tables, and a nice white cloth over it, or blanket really. And these are the carriages that I want to connect with these. So this is, as you'll recognise, as the control, the brake van that you can actually drive the train from. And I tend to run this rake of carriages, the 6 of them, backwards and forwards, which is what they're meant to do. But I do have trouble with the couplings, and if you look at the bottom of this carriage, there's a D on there, and this one's got A one end and B the other. They are so bad that I had to mark them so that I always connected them up the same way. So what I'm going to try and do is use these Kadee'S to see if I'm going to get a better job. And the first one to do, excuse me, are these two. Now these are connected together with the Bachmann vacuum pipe coupler. Now they work quite well, great, but the problem is, of course, as always with these permanent couplings, you don't really want to keep taking them apart and putting them together again, because something's going to break. So I'm hoping that I can use these Kadee'S, it will work. And obviously they are fairly easy to think. So I've taken the Bachmann coupler off, and there's one at the other end which I should do the same with. And they come out easily. I have, since I spoke to you, swapped my 2 brake vans. I've taken the couplings out of the other end, because obviously you don't have a coupling at the back of a brake van. And I did find, swapping these couplings over, they are quite stiff to get out. I needed a pair of pliers to get them out, or one of them I did, but they seem to work. So what I'm going to do now is, I've opened another packet of Kadee'S, and as I said, you get 4 to a thing, so basically you get 2 carriages worth. So I'm going to plug these into the coupling on the Bachmann coach, if it will go. There we are. And it looks to me as though you definitely need the extra long, because that is a long way in. It obviously does give a bit. So we'll do one the other end. So that's that one. And then obviously I'll do one in the end of this one. Better if you put them the right way up, isn't it? Obviously with the metal curve bit at the bottom. So there we are, they're on. I'm going to see whether it'll actually couple up. I've got the Hornby coach on the track. At least I nearly have. There we are. So there's the Hornby. Now there's the first problem. Because I haven't adjusted that, that's hitting on the decoupler. So I'm going to take the decoupler off. I think that's the easiest way. And it looks to me as though unless I want to bend all of these up, and I've got, as I said, 9 packs of them, I'm going to have to do what they say, which is to let that in. So there's that one on, and we'll put this one on. And I'll just check the numbers. There's not a number on that. Oh yes, I see, C and D, okay. But hopefully it won't matter which way round a couple of these now, because they should work. And believe it or not, that is actually working. Look at that. Although it's just uncoupled there. Why did that uncouple? Interesting. So the Hornby coupling is lower than the Bachmann coupling, which is probably why we have problems with them. And going over that point, it seems to catch the blade of the point and manages to decouple it. Either that or that point is magnetic. But I'm quite happy with that. That looks pretty good. Now these curves are the first radius, so it's going round thing, but again it's uncoupled. So maybe I do need, so why is that? Yes, it's only catching on about half of the claw. So it goes like that. It's only doing that. So if there's a dip in the track, it can come off. So what do we do about that? I don't know. We can't do much about the Bachmann one, can we? Is this falling out? Yes, there we are. It might be because that looks as though I had to stick this one in, and it's probably a bit low onto what I've done it. So let's see if that's helped. Yeah, both of these, if you see, I don't know whether you can see that, but I had to fuse both of those in because, as you know, these tend to fall out, don't they? I'm going to put another Kadee in the end of this other one. So I think mixing Bachmann carriages and Hornby carriages can be a bit problematical, I would say. But I'm hoping I won't have to go back to the vacuum pipes. I'm filming this quite a few weeks before you're going to see it, and at the time, yeah, I've got a problem with that. They're miles, Bachmann's are miles too high to the Hornby on that one anyway. Let's try the Bachmann to the Bachmann. Yes, although they're not exactly the same height, they near enough are. And as you can see, that runs lovely. No problem, and I think if you push it, it'll push. Yeah, okay, it went there, but I'm probably pulling a bit harder than you normally would. Let's try this one. So this is, oh, they are. That's just come out completely. So this type of fixing on the Hornby is a bit of a problem. Yes, it's pulling about, it's actually coupling up about half of the Kadee. Although on that one, look, it doesn't actually uncouple when I go over the point, by the look of it. So that is pretty good. So if we now put the backman carriage that end, and couple up, if it will. So they are running very nicely. I could have a few uncouples, unintentional uncouplings, I reckon. But that looks pretty good. Let's just try it round this point, see what happens, shall we? Oh, that is superb. Except it's left that one behind. Like most couplings, they don't like to couple up on the curve so much. Although the little wagons did. It's probably because of the angles. So, I will obviously cut parts of this video out. So I need to open another one of these, and this is going to do another 2 carriages. And I found the easiest way to open them is just to cut across like that, rather than trying to undo the flap. So again, we've got 4 couplings. If I can get the last one out. Come on, out you come. He doesn't want to come out, this one. Ah, there we are. So let's get one in this end. So what I would say is, if you look at the gap in these, they're a lot closer than the 2 brake vans were, and these, remember, are the longest couplings, extra long in fact. So if I'd have bought short couplings, I don't think it would have worked. So we've got another one here, and this one was the one, I think the original one, that was a bit low. Let's see how we do. Yes, that couples up about the same height. And we've got one that end, so we need a couple out of this. I'm going to have a few couplings over, aren't I? And finally we need one in here. Push again. So, I've now got my full rake of 6 carriages, and they're going on a first radius curve with no problems whatsoever. So the next thing I would like to do is, you might have seen it in earlier shots, my 68. So what I would dearly love to do is to be able to haul these around with the 68. But the only fault we have with these is their couplings on here. So I'm going to try and put a Kadee on the end of this one, if it will come out. That's it, and put a Kadee in. Here we are. And in essence, that would couple up to this end here. Hopefully. And it does. So I think what I need to do now is go to the main layout, and we'll have this running round and see how we get on, and see if it uncouples or whatever. I did have a lot bigger layout out here, and I tried to connect it to my standard Hornby DC controller, but none of my locos would respond, although they're supposed to, aren't they? So I don't know whether you've got to set something, I don't know. But I'll put a picture in to show you what I had up. But the little ones worked, so I'm quite happy with that. So here we are on the main layout, and as you can see, it's running reasonably well. Did I put it on the layout and it worked perfectly the first time? No, of course it didn't. But what were the problems that I encountered having this run round? Well, the first problem was with the 68 itself, and as we follow it round, the problems were these level crossings. And as you can see it going over there now, the centre part of the level crossing had come up and the Kadee had hit it when it was going round in the opposite direction to what it's going round now. So I simply took that off and re-glued it with some double-sided tape, but I did find that it was still hitting. So on the locomotive I have bent up the pin a bit. That wasn't the end of the problems. I had one carriage that was doing the same, so again I bent those pins up, and I did have one carriage that the wheel tracking back to back was miles out, and that was causing a problem, and it decoupled. But so far it's worked really well. I've shown you the whole layout. I'm now going to set the locomotive and the train going backwards, and we'll see what happens then, shall we? So here we come. So this is again at the same, it will build up to the same speed of 40 miles an hour. And we'll see if we get any problems. It's been I am very happy. It's a lot better than with the old couplings, absolutely. And even better, I can now unhook each carriage individually instead of having to keep two together. I have had it running round at 60 miles an hour and it did it quite well. As we can see, I've still got the disco carriage, but it's working very well. So I'm now going to relocate the camera and we'll try something else. So as the train comes into view fairly slowly, as you can see, I'm going to switch it to the inner track or the middle track. So we'll see what happens here, shall we? I've not done this before, so I don't know any more than you do whether it will work or not. I've got it going very slowly, just in case. And we'll see. Now I am concerned about the level crossings here, especially the one with the gates on, the double gates, because it seems quite high. So we'll see what happens with the Kadee fittings. So we're about to hit the first Kadee. Well, it's gone over there. What about the next one? So I shall now speed it up slightly because we seem to be okay. I need to go and switch the point back. there we are, being too greedy. I accelerated it very fast, but I'm happy with this. I really am. After our little crash, shall we say, I couldn't find anything particularly wrong. I think it may have been occasionally the Kadee'S do catch some of the track or some of the whatever, I don't know. I did check some of the back-to-back on the wheels in case they were a bit out. And it's now running around reasonably happy at 50 miles an hour, which I'm quite happy about. And if you saw it working in the old days, I had absolutely loads of trouble. For instance, on one of my videos, you see this going from the outer track to the middle track, as you saw here, and I never actually completed the manoeuvre because it would always derail, and that did it absolutely perfectly, didn't it? So I'm really pleased I bought these Kadee'S. It's possible that the new magnetic ones would work equally as well, but remember, these can be uncoupled automatically with the magnetic plate, which the magnetic ones can't be. And I did say about the uncoupling tool, so the pointed end was for doing the spring, but the other end is for uncoupling, and it works. You just pop it in and twist, and it works a dream. So great. So I'm quite happy. I think I might invest in some more of these, but I'm really glad that I did actually get the extra long, because I think I would have had trouble with this, wouldn't I? So perhaps the shorter ones for the goods wagons, and the long ones extra long for carriages, especially carriages like this. So I'm going to call it a day. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's helped. In the old days I could never have pushed this train around with the Dapol 68. It just would have kept binding on the couplings, and it would have been absolutely awful. So this has been a really good exercise, and I hope you can tell by my voice that I am really, really happy. I am really. So I think you will probably see this rate running more often now, as I can reliably put it on the layout. Cheers everybody, thanks for watching, and any comments will be gratefully received, and any questions you might have. Each pack of the couplings are £5.50 from Rails of Sheffield. You may be able to get them cheaper elsewhere, I don't know. And I haven't worked out whether it's cheaper to do it with those or with the magnetic couplings, but as I say, these you can uncouple automatically. I don't believe you can with the magnetic ones, but they look a good product, I must admit. Cheers everybody, cheers.